Welcome back. President Biden is proposing a plan that would give the IRS an extra $80 billion. It would help the agency crack down on tax evasion over the next 10 years. This is according to a story in the New York Times. The funds would be used to target high-income earners and large corporations. The administration plans to use the revenge brought in by that from new taxes to cover the cost of his American Family Plan. The plan is expected to cost at least $1.5 trillion. It would include universal pre-K, federal paid leave, and free community college, and much more, all the goodies. This is in addition to the $2.3 trillion infrastructure package that Democrats are also trying to push through with zero Republican support. And joining us now to discuss this, retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant Jesse Jane Duff. Also back with us, Democratic strategist Robin Biro and RNC spokesperson Paris Denard. You know, guys, in the time that I read that story, Biden proposing $80 billion to give to the IRS. I think I just heard, Paris, $80 billion of money moved offshore in other accounts. That's what happens, right? They come after the rich people. By the time they do it, the money's already gone.
Joe Biden's Robin Hood policies of trying to take from the rich to help the poor isn't going to actually help the poor or less advantaged people, because what we need to do is actually create systems and create ways of economic development, free enterprise and commerce and jobs and growth in the economy, so that people can rise and can have greater wealth and save money and to be achieving their own form of the American dream. That's what President Trump and congressional Republicans were doing with their policies. That's what deregulation was all about. That's what tax cuts were all about. But now what Biden wants to do is just tax corporations and make them less competitive globally. He wants to give the IRS money to go after them, when he should be focused on taking funds away from the IRS, because hopefully we don't need an IRS, because we don't want them to continue to tax and have a system that just taxes us. Taxes when you're born, taxes when you're married, taxes when you die. That's all they want to do is tax and spend. We've got to change the philosophy. We've got to change the way government works. And the only way to do that is to elect common sense, free enterprise focused, America First type of Republicans in 2022, so that we can take back the House and the Senate.
Do you think, Robin, this is really about paying for this plan? I mean, it seems impossible to pay for this stuff. Or is it really just about sending a message that they're just trying to stick it to the wealthy?
Ooh, that's a tough question, John. I really hope that this is sincerely trying to pay for the plan, because I'm a deficit hawk. I'm one of the few deficit hawks on the left. I've been jumping up and down about this for years. My kids will be inheriting about $220,000 a piece of our national deficit. So look, if we go after tax evaders, tax cheats, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with corporations that don't pay any tax, like Amazon, for example. They need to pay their fair share. So I hope that this is in the spirit of what the intent is, John.
Yeah, because when you say tax cheats, what most people think about are guys like Jeff Bezos. Even though he's not technically cheating on his taxes, he just has the army, Jesse, of attorneys and tax accountants that know how to play this game. So what you have here is a system where you have wealthy people with their accountants and their lawyers and their tax avoiders, helping them legally avoid these, tax plans that people like Joe Biden put in place. And what we see happening is this money just disappears. It evaporates and goes to Ireland or to the Cayman Islands or other places where there are not the same kind of implications when it comes to taxes.
Yes, President Trump even ran on that messaging when he was being criticized for his taxes. He said, everything I did was legal. That's why you need to have me in the White House, so that we can reform our tax code. We need to make adjustments to this. But, this is just going to revitalize the taxed enough already crowd, the Tea Party, because essentially you're only implicating those that don't have the resources to have the big name attorneys. Right now, we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. I believe it's up to 28%. This is higher than China. There's a problem with that. Taxing more does not necessarily mean you're spending the money wisely. With all of this excess and surplus spending, how about making the genuine cuts that we need to make so that we're not going into debt and deficit, as Robin stated, with the children that are going to be inheriting all of it. And all of us are inheriting it and paying it now. This is just spending animal, mineral, vegetable. The Democrats will tax it. It doesn't matter if it's living or dead, they will tax it. That is not the answer to your solutions. If they're held accountable on how they spend our tax dollars, maybe we would see some reform in this country. But trying to go scoop up more money without making the rules so that we are business friendly and people bring their businesses back to the United States, you're just driving businesses away and it's going to just get covered up.
There are two questions that Democrats like to ask, and the answer is always yes. Number one, is it infrastructure? Yes. Number two, can we tax it? Yes. They love those two questions and answers. All right, let's go to John Kerry. He is now denying that he divulged classified information to Iran. Several leaked audio recordings captured the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, stating that Kerry told him that Israel had targeted Iranian forces inside Syria. Who do we believe here, the New York Times or John Kerry, Paris?
I think we need to have a serious investigation, and if it's proven that he did this, it needs to go.
Yeah. What do you think, Robin?
Investigate, but as I said before, these allegations, we already knew this intelligence a long time ago.
So does that make it less of a big deal? I mean, this was buried.
No, it's still a problem, but
yeah.
This was Obama administration. It doesn't affect his job as climate czar right now.
And explain to me how it doesn't affect his job. He has a seat on the National Security Council, Robin, and he is now exposed.
Yeah, I can do that because, as I said, this information was widely reported in the press and the media. We all knew this. There were 200 strikes, so this was not news. Although the prime minister at the time made it seem like this was news to him, this was widely reported in the news. If he'd never watched television, maybe it was news to him, but I don't believe it.
Well, when you, I don't speak Farsi, Jesse. I'd have to get a translation here. But when you read the transcripts of what was stated, again, it's Javad Zarif, so you take it for a grain of salt. But the way he's talking about John Kerry divulging this type of information, there are a lot of Republicans who say John Kerry cannot continue in this capacity, given how much stock the Biden administration puts in this climate policy as it relates to national security. He is the climate czar, right? But he's also in the National Security Council.
He knows nothing about the climate, as you had stated in your monologue earlier in the show. And you also indicated that he is no foe of our national security. He is for a war before he was against a war and vice versa. But when you look at this coming out of Iran, it tells me that they're letting everybody know he is owned by the Iranians. That's what the impression is given.
Yeah, I don't know about if he's owned by the Iranians or not, but they were so desperate to get the Iranian nuclear deal. What were they willing to give up to get it? Another reminder of that. Jesse, Robin, Paris, thank you guys.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.